Welcome to Cooking with Andrea. Today I'm excited. We're making a green chili. Here's our green chili. And it's a green chili chicken stew. I've been craving it. I've been hungry. We've been eating a lot of salads lately because it's so doggone hot, but it's a beautiful day today. So we decided we're going to indulge and we're going to have a green chicken chili stew. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some, I'm going to cut some cucumber up. I'm sorry, carrots up. It's going to be about a half a cup of carrots. I've got 2 bell peppers. I'm going to go ahead and cut up real nice and easy. I got 2 poblanos. I've got a ear of corn. I've got 4 cloves of garlic, an onion. I've got a whole onion. Now you guys know me, I can't tell a food lie. Onion has to be pureed for me. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and get my onion chopped up, pureed, along with my garlic. It just makes it easier. And then I've got 5 little red potatoes. I've got, for garnish, I've got some green onions and some cilantro. I also have 5 chicken breasts. I'll go ahead and get those all cut up. And then after I get everything cut up, I will come back and we'll cook everything together. I have some coriander. That's coriander. I have cumin. I have celery seed. I have pepper, and I have oregano for my seasonings. And then I have 3 tablespoons of flour and some canola oil. That's how we're going to make my little roux to get started. And then this right over here is a beautiful thing. I had made my meat in the crock pot the other day. I have 6 cups of meat jelly. So this meat jelly is going to serve as my broth. So when I do pork or I do chicken or I do beef, I always try to make sure that I keep the meat jelly or the meat drippings so that I can make gravies and make my own broths. That's how I make my own soups and stuff. So we're going to go ahead. I just got to explain one other thing too. We got some beautiful things from my garden. We got some beautiful banana peppers. We got some jalapenos. We got some bell peppers. The peppers came from our garden. The onions came from our garden. Everything else that came from the store. We got some beautiful cherry tomatoes. We got some big red tomatoes. And we've got some squash. So we got some good stuff going on in our garden. So I'm gonna go ahead and get everything cut up, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna start cooking together. Welcome back. Thanks for waiting for me to get everything cut. It's really not a lot to prep. I just wanted to get everything prepped off camera so you guys didn't have to see it, because I wanted to show you how I cook my little dish here. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start with 3 tablespoons of oil. You can do oil, lard, or butter. It's your choice. You know, a lot of times when I have that natural fat from the animal, I kind of try and use everything. I'm kind of one of those. I like everything. I like fresh vegetables, fresh meat, fresh everything. I don't know what direction some days, but when I have fresh stuff, I'm going to use it. 2, 3. That's all we need right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get my, I'm going to leave this right here. I'm going to turn my pot on, do a hot pot real fast. It'll only take a minute. One thing I love about my cookware is I can actually use an actual fork. Okay, so I'm going to drop my heat though, because I don't want my oil to get too hot. And then what I'm going to do is just let it sit here for like that for a second. Here is my pureed onion and garlic. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and put my 3 tablespoons of flour in. I'll go ahead and just mix it around, just get it a little incorporated. It's going to start getting hot and start cooking. We want to cook it for about a minute, minute 2. Cook that flour taste out of it. So that's what we'll do. And this is going to be my roux for my stew. My chicken is very thin and it's a breast of meat, so I'm not going to go ahead and I'm not going to put flour on my chicken. when it's time, my chicken's gonna go in the pot along with my potatoes. It'll all cook at the right time, the same time. It'll all be good. Okay, I have to tell you guys, oh my gosh, my poblanos, I only cut up one because, woohoo, excuse me, that was a cough because when I first tried my poblano, it was a little spicy, but it's really not spicy, and once you cook it in with all the liquid and the other veg, the spice won't be there because of the amount of liquid. So I'm not going to do two. I'm going to do one poblano first because how I feel is you can't go back. So once you put all that heat in there, you can't fix the dish. And for me, I like heat, but I like flavor more than I like heat. So that's why I'm telling you guys this. Okay, as soon as this cooks just a second more, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna drop what's gonna drop my pan crazy amounts because I'm doing a puree, garlic, and onion. But you know what? I like onion. You know, I used to think for years, oh my God, I hate onion. It's the worst thing on the planet. It wasn't the onion I hated. It was the texture of the onion. Because back in the day, my mom always used to use either big pieces of onion, and if they were really big, it was okay because then I could pick them out. Or, you know, packets back in the day, or back in the day, they used to use the dehydrated onions, which I do not like, because to me it's hard once you dehydrate that onion to make it come back and be nice and smooth. So I thought for the longest time, I'm like, oh my gosh, I really hate onions. I'm like, how do I hate onions? But anyways, to make a long story short, I learned, oh my gosh, puree them. And I love onions. I do. I love the onion flavor because I always love the onion flavor. But I just could not stand the texture of the onion. And so now, if there's an onion in something, it does not freak me out. Before, it would freak me out. I'd be all upset. Nah, I can't eat this. Blah, 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 blah. And it would just kind of ruin my dinner. Okay, so this is up just a little bit more, which is fine. I'm just going to let my onion cook and my garlic. So we're just going to keep cooking this for about 2.5 minutes. So we're just stirring our onion. We're good. Now I'm going to drop our chicken in. And I'm going to turn my heat up just for a second. I'm going to turn it up higher to about 350. Because we're just going to barely incorporate the onion, the garlic, and my chicken. Now, I have my camera this way because I want you to see. Now, if you did not have your onion pureed, it wouldn't look exactly like this because mine has to be pureed, otherwise I cannot eat it. So, all I'm doing is I got this on 350 for a minute. I'm going to let it cook for a second. Then what I'm going to do is drop my broth in because everything is going to cook in my pot. I don't need one thing not to cook at the same time. Because my chicken is so thin, everything will cook, everything is going to be fantastic. Be like the same as you drop it in your crock pot, except for it's going to boil and it's going to come faster. Okay, so we're good. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit higher. And I'm going to use my fork. So I have everything. I'm going to take these bits of, that's one thing I love. See, I have bits too from my onion and my garlic. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take and scrape our bottom. It's not burnt, barely brown. And some of it is because, you know, I have my roux in here too. And that's what's going to be my thickening agent after we get everything incorporated. Okay, so I got all my bits off. We are good to go. And I'm doing it this way too because I don't want to touch the chicken a lot and transfer. So I'm going to put my spoon over there. I'm going to take out my meat jelly, basically, which is just meat drippings. That's all it is. So it's just my version of stock. That's all it is. I'm going to get the liquid part, push it out. We're going to go like this. Now, if I need more, I have Knorr like I normally use, or I have more fresh, but I won't use my other fresh because I'll use those for soups. But I have a good base for my chili, or I'm sorry, my stew, my green chili stock stew. So I'm good. And this is all nice and flavored already because I've already cooked this meat. I cooked it. And so it has all those flavors of my other seasonings. Very similar seasonings. And this is why I use it. So my stock is just more seasoned in my opinion. That's all it is than what you buy in the store. But you know, anybody that makes stocks and gravies from home, a lot of times yours has more seasoning anyways because you're able to put your own seasoning in. So you can either use your chicken broth or you can use your Knorr. Those are the two I use. So I've got my pot up pretty high. We're at 460. We're gonna let everything come up. And then, guys, I cannot taste this because there's raw chicken in there right now. So what we'll do is we'll boil it and then we can come back, and after 15 minutes my chicken will be done because my chicken is so thin. But it's that easy of a pot where you could do this even in your crock pot. The only thing you would do is not do a roux. You would do the chicken dipped in flour instead of you mixing the roux. So that's what you would do. But as soon as this comes to boil, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to start dumping our good veg. So I took the one corn cob I had and I took the corn off and it came out to a really heavy cup. I took 1 cup of carrot. Yeah, I have 1 cup of carrot. And I have 2 of my bell pepper. My bell pepper is a little chunky because I don't want there to not be any texture or chunk. So my texture and chunk is going to be my bell pepper and my chicken. And then, you know, my corn will have a little body, and so will my carrots. Okay, so right now, these are my seasonings. Sorry, they got kind of drifted together here. I have a teaspoon and a half of cumin, and I have a teaspoon of coriander. I have a 1/4 teaspoon of celery salt. I have a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and I have 1 teaspoon of oregano. I'm gonna go right into the pot. We're gonna give it a mix here. Stir this all up. Oh my gosh, the cumin hits the pot and it smells so nice and earthy. So, you know, it was so funny. Years ago when I first made this, I always made chili verde, which is kind of like a Mexican, or it is a Mexican green chili, basic, kind of like a stew. I don't know what you really call it. It's not a soup because it's thicker, but it's kind of like a stew. So your chili verde is actually very green. You know, it's not like green chili chicken, because what makes mine green chili is just the chilies that I'm adding, and I'm doing a poblano because I feel poblanos are not as stingy as a jalapeno. So I'm also doing bell pepper, because even when I make my chili verde, a lot of people don't use bell pepper, but I do because I love the way bell pepper tastes. It's a great green chili. It's not a hot chili. So let me tell you a couple things. If you do not like heat whatsoever, you can still make this dish. Just don't use any kind of this heat, because bell peppers are not hot. And especially our bell peppers, we grow our bell peppers. Our bell peppers are really sweet. Another thing too is I never want anybody to waste money on food. Food is very important to nourish our bodies and our brains, and food is it's expensive. And you know, it's really super expensive now, but food has always been expensive. So you know, we have to do dishes right. So if you're not a big heat fan, I guarantee you, I promise, this 1/3, you should not have any heat at all. That's why I used a 1/3 cup, because I'm a measurer, because I don't want things to be too hot. I don't want to ruin your dish. It's like salting. Salting can ruin, peppering can ruin. That's why I say, hey guys, don't follow me all the time, because we're pepper people. So you please start off with a 1/3 cup if you're not heavy into chili. You know, you can also buy a can of chili. You don't have to use fresh, but the reason I'm using fresh is because that's why we grow. This is what we grow. We like it this way, and we also know our heat level. Because see, every dish, you have to try every dish and make it your own. So everything's coming up to boil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my corn. Let's get all of it out. My peppers I'm actually going to add in a minute because my peppers will not take as long as my corn, in my opinion, and my carrots. But everything will come up real fast. And I'm going to put my potatoes in. But you don't want any of your food mushy. You don't want it mushy. So if you think it needs extra, like I'm not going to add anything until this is really coming up. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the 5 little potatoes. I cut them. I'm going to dump the water so that we could go ahead and when it's time we can put them in there. Okay, so we'll just let this drip. So everything is so delicious. Like I said, it doesn't really take that long. Remember, you guys can use a can of corn. It doesn't have to be fresh. Do what you and your family like. This is just one more idea because you know, when you work all day, I mean, it's the weekend, so I have time to cook. But when you work all day and you have children and you're married and you have family and responsibilities, you know, you don't always have time to cook from scratch. Use a can for something. Like I say, the chilies. A lot of people buy Ortega diced chilies. You already know the heat. Rotel is another good one. And, you know, even if you only had a can of tomato and Rotel, you could throw it in here. Nobody would know the difference. It's as green as you like or not as green as you like. I'm going to tell you a secret too. Like, I used to be kind of obsessed with the color. It had to be a little bit more green. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. And I finally got it through my head. You're not making chili verde. You're making green chili chicken stew. So what I had to do is learn how to go, don't worry, it doesn't have to be that green. It's the green chilies in your stew. So, you know, I had to teach and tell myself that this is actually the color it's supposed to be. Can be a little browner or a little bit lighter. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hot chili in. I'm going to use all my chili. But remember, you guys, start out small, especially if you don't know your heat level. You can always put more in. And especially, secret is too, cut them small like this. Then you can put them in at any point in time. 10 minutes before the dish is done. Like, I'm going to give this 15-20 minutes to cook. Then what I would do is I would go back and taste it. And then that's when I would see, okay, is my food hot enough? Spicy enough? If it is, we're good. If not, oh man, I could put another one in. Or I could go get a jalapeno and drop a jalapeno. We always have jalapenos in our house. You know, but I'm kind of heat sensitive, like Thai chilies. Oh, geez, those can be very hot. I am a wimp. Okay. So this is what it's going to look like. Everything's incorporated. So now it's got a little rolling bubble. I'm going to go ahead and let this continue to boil. I have it on a high right now, and you can see the bubbles are coming up. As soon as it gets to a real heavy rolling boil and some of my liquid dissipates, what I'll do is I'll turn the heat down, but I'm basically going to let this come to a boil, put a cap on it, turn the heat to a medium high, and then we'll come back in 15 minutes and we'll check it. Okay, we're checking here. We've been 15 minutes. Our beautiful green chili chicken stew is doing good. It's thicker than a soup. We still have some more thickening to go. As it cooks down, it'll thicken more. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give a try. I'm going to try the broth. That's what I'm really interested in. Make sure all my flavors are here. This has so much flavor. I used the whole Poblano. I've got a little bit of heat. Honestly, I could have used another half a Poblano. But you know what? This has perfect heat. There's Oh, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. So what we're going to do, it's not done yet. We need another 15 more minutes, and we're just going to let it cook some more. I'm going to try one of my potatoes too real fast. My chicken's already cooked. Let me try. Okay. We're doing fine. We'll go ahead and we're going to cook for 15 more minutes and we'll be back. Okay, welcome back. Everything is done. Looks delicious, smells delicious. I've already tried it. To me, it's thick enough. Any thicker with all this in there, then it'll just be like glue. But I'll tell you a secret. If you thought you needed more thickness to yours, then what you could do is do two things. You can do, this is our trick. You can smash like this. And I always just smash twice. I don't smash a lot. I don't want a lot. But I kind of cheat. And I smash it like that. If I think it needs more. Today, I don't think it needs more. I really don't. Because like I said, once it becomes thick, it's not going to taste as good. Because it's definitely thicker than a soup. But with all this vegetable and chicken and potato, you actually need a little bit of juice. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our toppings. I'm going to move the soup out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and bring it right over here. Because what you want to do is you want to drop just a little bit of cilantro, depending on how much you like. You could cook the cilantro in there ahead of time too. You don't have to use it as a garnish. Any way you prefer. It's how you feel. I also always give my family green onions because I puree the onions. So I know my family likes onions, and they like the way I do it too, because they say by pureeing, they get a lot of onion flavor versus not. So there is a lot of goodness to pureeing an onion. And the garlic too, I hate to say, because there's a lot of goodness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try it. Fantastic. Fantastic. Really hot. The chicken's nice and done. The corn adds a nice fresh note. The chilies are great. Potatoes excellent. Let's see what the carrot brings to the dish. Nice note. Carrot brings some texture too. See, this in my opinion is thick enough. That to me is a stew. So, I'm going to try it with a piece of bread. That was my timer. Perfect timing. Fantastic. Well, I'm not supposed to be sitting here just eating. But if you like the content, if you would please like, share, and subscribe, I'd be super grateful. Please try my green chili chicken stew. Thanks so much and have a wonderful, blessed day.